Hey everyone, I'm Mason, the founder of Save Cosmo. Some of you may remember me from the first video that started the whole movement made back in February of 2020. Others may know me from our Discord server. And some of you may know me as that one guy who walked in a field wearing merchandise or drinking tea with a Cosmo plush. I wanted to have a moment to talk face to face with you guys, which I don't think I've been able to do here before. Now, recently there's been some news that's surfaced from Ian Flynn on his podcast, The Bumblecast, regarding a potential pitch for the Metarex saga in the IDW Sonic comics. This was first mentioned as something he said he wanted to do in an earlier episode from September of 2020. It was a big deal when we heard about this news, and I like to believe that our influence helped make it possible. Over the years since then, it would be brought up multiple times in Q&As, and still hadn't been pitched to Sega yet. That was until recently. On January 5th, 2024, a guest episode of the Bumblecast released featuring Pendanticat, in which he asks this question.
A lot of Sonic X is off the table.
Hopefully one day you can do that planned Meadowex saga you've been teasing all of us about.
No, that will never happen, unfortunately.
Ah, dang.
Yeah, I did get the opportunity to actually ask directly about it. And I was like, nope, not remotely possible. And it's like, well, good to know.
I guess so.
I guess Tailsmo gonna stay sunk.
Look, it's, fanon and headcanon is your own little personal bubble of joy. No one can take that away from you. And you can interpret it however you want. So cultivate it for yourselves and relish it and savor it. It's never going to be an official thing.
So yeah, this was very upsetting for me to hear, definitely, but I didn't understand it. We finally now get an update, and this update is saying that she can't come back at all, which doesn't make sense, because this pitch only got shut down for IDW. It should mean that other media she's still open to, right? I had to find out more, so I decided to email Ian. And I wasn't sure if he would respond to me, or if he could even tell me anything useful, but I had to do it. I had to figure out more about this. And he did respond, and it painted a much clearer picture of what really happened regarding that pitch. Howdy, Mason. Unfortunately, it's not something I can get into further, nor do I remotely have any control over. It's a rights issue that covers all of the Sonic X exclusive material. It's disappointing, but it's completely out of my hands. Yeah, a rights issue. This was confusing and concerning at the same time. I didn't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. And so I emailed him again, asked for more information, and we had about a back and forth of 3 emails. Again, I can't get into details, but the pitch was not for IDW, but an inquiry about another project. The response and reasoning behind it made it very clear that any Sonic X material was unavailable, and there was no way to escalate the issue. It was as complete and total defeat as one could imagine. I'm disappointed for the character and the fans, but there's no way to sugarcoat it, nor am I going to feed fans false hope. I said I'd update when I can, and that update is, it's over, I lost. For some more context, I also mentioned all the recent Cosmo references as evidence for Sonic Team seemingly being interested in using Cosmo again, or hinting towards her coming back, maybe. One of them being some notable parallels in Sonic Frontiers. I'm afraid a lot of your evidence is ill-founded. For example, Sonic Frontiers endings were not meant to reference Sonic X. I wrote it, and I assure you I wasn't thinking of it. The canon sequence and potted plants are, at most, homages and Easter eggs, not canonical references. Sonic X itself is not canon to the series. I won't discourage you from still trying to gain more traction. Show your passion for what you love, and always be respective of the social media team's time and attention. I would be happy to be proven wrong in the long term, but as far as I know, from my experience, I've exhausted all options. This information was pretty devastating for me to hear, of course. I didn't think a rights issue could even be possible, considering Cosmo was created by Sonic Team themselves, And TMS Entertainment, the anime studio that made Sonic X, has been owned by Sega Sammy since 2010. So I talked to a few people about this and discovered that even if TMS is owned by Sega Sammy, TMS is still its own company with its own copyright. If they held the copyright to everything original that was created in Sonic X, then that means that Sega and Sonic Team can't use those properties without paying royalties and getting special permission. As one last effort, I decided to do some more research on the copyright of Sonic X. Sonic Project is the legal name of Sonic X. Anytime you see copyright Sonic Project, especially if it says all rights reserved next to it, it means this is property of TMS. This is on all merchandise and media featuring Sonic X branding. Sometimes Sega isn't even credited on some of these products. So when Ian Flynn was saying this is a copyright issue, that was what he meant. Surprisingly, Sonic Team does not have the rights to use Sonic X media. When it comes to the pot references and nods to Cosmo's death scene, that's really all Sonic Team was able to give us to show their support without ruffling the feathers of TMS's copyright. I know how disappointing and heartbreaking it can be to hear this. I mean, I've been doing this for 4 years now. I've been putting in so much passion and dedication and time, all for the end goal of seeing this character return in official media. I mean, this meant a lot to me, really did. But as I had time to think and consider where we are today, I realized just how much we did accomplish doing all this. I mean, we managed to band together and bring Cosmo, a character forgotten by the community, back into popularity. We made fan art and funny videos and mods and fan games and merch. We managed to gain vocal acknowledgement and support from YouTubers, Sega employees, even Sonic Team themselves. Heck, we're the only reason there are new Cosmo references in official media. That hasn't happened in 13 years since the last reference. And not just in artwork either, in Sonic Frontiers. That's amazing! If you think about everything we managed to do, it is insanely impressive. We shook the Sonic community and left an impact on everyone. And even our own community of Cosmo fans all brought together after so many years. For so long, people were disappointed that she never came back, and the haters stuck around and became this loud minority. Anytime you tried to talk about Cosmo, this niche character that nobody remembers, and the only people who do just despise her and shut you down for liking her. It happens a lot with a lot of characters, and it sucks. It really sucks. I hated that. I saw it happen to people. A lot of it had to do with shipping. A lot of it had to do with just, they didn't understand her. Maybe they didn't like Sonic X, period. Maybe they watched the wrong dub of the show. But not anymore, because now they have a community of hundreds, even thousands of fans all over our social medias. Our YouTube channel, our Discord server. You know, there's so many people that have been touched and impacted by this movement. I've met so many cool and talented people who all love and cherish this character, and we all have that in common. I constantly hear people talking about how much they love having this community of like-minded people who all cherish this character that they thought no one else liked. They thought they were alone on. And no matter how toxic some parts of the Sonic fan base will always be, there will also always be such talented people within that community with passion and motivation to do great things. And that's what we did. We got together and we did a great thing. I want you guys to know we are not going anywhere. This community and all that, that's gonna stick around. And especially me. I don't want to leave right now. I really enjoy this place. I enjoy all of you guys. And as long as I can, I'd like to be part of it. Our appreciation for Cosmo is something to cherish, and that will continue. Our social medias and the Save Cosmo Discord server are all gonna stay, including our website, which I'd like to revamp at some point. I don't know when we can get to that, but hey, that's a fun project that I'd like to do at some point, whenever I have time. Now, as for the name, #SaveCosmo, that is probably going to go, because we don't really need it anymore. Realistically and practically, it just doesn't make sense for us to continue pushing for a cause that is way more complicated than anything we could make a further impact on. Everything that we could have done has been done, and the only real way to ever see Cosmo come back in official media would just be waiting it out and hoping that someday there is some internal shakeup. And then there might be a chance. So, as I say right now, this is not permanently the case. Cosmo is not 100% gone forever, as this may feel like. Right now, it's probably not going to happen, but in the future, anything could happen. You guys remember Oswald, the Lucky Rabbit? Some of you probably don't remember him because he's very old, but he was a creation before Mickey Mouse, a character that Sonic took inspiration from. Walt Disney lost the rights to Oswald very early on, and for a long time they couldn't use him anymore, so they just kept going with Mickey and all the other characters. But eventually, more recently, they managed to get the rights back. And when they did, they started using him again. Not a whole lot, but in Epic Mickey, he's featured as a prominent character in those games. He just got an animated short for his 100th birthday. We all knew there was a chance that we wouldn't succeed at this goal, and that was the thing from the very start. We all knew this going in, but honestly, I would not even call this a loss. I mean, we freaking got support from Sonic Team themselves. We directly got them to show that they still care about this character. And we might still be getting Cosmo references in the future. They want to bring her back. We made them want to bring her back. I mean, and maybe they always have wanted to. I don't know about you, but I absolutely consider that a win. And it feels great to know that they still love Cosmo just as much as we do. You know, a member from our Discord server put it really well, actually. A character can die 3 times. When they die physically, when their fox lover doesn't remember them, and when the fans don't remember them. That is sad, it really is. But as long as we are here to give her love and support and do things with Cosmo, then that last part will never happen. Cosmo will never truly die completely, as long as we are there to keep her alive. And in reality, no one is going to stop us from making new Cosmo concepts. The sky is the limit with our creativity. Sega is very lenient with their copyright when it comes to Sonic, so as long as we don't try to get them to strike us down, they won't. So, go crazy. Cosmo is ours. She belongs to us, and no one will ever take that from us. Thank you all so much for supporting Save Cosmo. I never in a million years expected to get this much support for just an old character that I happened to miss and decided to talk about 4 years ago on a video. It's been a pleasure doing this with you guys.